Excuse me. Hey, what's up? Kind of got a frog in my throat. As you can tell, I'm not myself today. Pardon the weird outfit and strange looks. I've been doing some side work for a friend. So yeah, here's my mafia persona. Very nice, snappy. Anyway, just kind of standing here, in kind of a weird mood. So I guess if you were to ask me how I felt today, I'd have to say just strange. You know, um, connected and disconnected at the same time. At rest and going a million miles an hour on the inside. I don't know. Brain's bouncing all over the place thinking about strange things. One of those things being relativity, I guess. More so relativity of perspective rather than like, the whole E equals MC squared thing. Although that equation is pretty damn fantastic if you even start to scratch the surface of what it's about. For instance, I guess one example that I heard somewhere on some documentary or YouTube video, or I can't remember where it was. A reputable source, like nothing crazy like Nat Geo or Discovery or something like that. And they said if you took E energy to find out, for instance, how much energy was in just a dollar bill, a regular dollar bill, they're all pretty much the same around the world. A few inches of paper, cotton-based paper, plastic, whatever. And if you were to convert its mass back into energy, so mass times the speed of light squared, you would have essentially, if you could release all that energy at once, the same amount of energy as in a hydrogen bomb explosion out of a dollar bill. That's just one of the sort of things that equation can explain, which is why it's so far out. But anyway, I guess I should stop talking about.
I met this girl last night, and she was like, "Wow, you're actually cute and skinny." Kind of surprised.
Hell yeah.
I have no idea why those two are sitting in a random hallway, but whatever. Anyway, so I got sort of sidetracked talking about the kind of relativity I wasn't going to talk about. And again, it's one of those topics that's kind of round. So there is no real place to start or end. I just kind of got to wander around and poke at it until it's in a vague circle shape, and hopefully it makes sense at the end. Even when you're standing completely motionless or laying completely motionless, and you feel like you're completely motionless, you're actually moving at hundreds of thousands of kilometers or miles an hour. It's big enough a number that it doesn't matter if you use miles or kilometers. It's colossal. Because don't forget, the Earth is rotating on its axis at about 1,000 kilometers an hour, give or take. I could be quite a bit wrong with that number, but it's a lot. Basically, if you think about it, the distance from one time zone to the next in hour increments is about as far as the Earth rotates in an hour. So however far that is, pick up a map and look at the time zones, you'll see. Not only that, but the Earth is rotating around the Sun at some blisteringly high, fast amount of kilometers or miles an hour. I can't remember. It's tens of thousands, 60,000, I don't know, 600,000, who knows. The point is, it's going really fast. Not only that, but our solar system is part of a galaxy which is going around, orbiting a central point. And that's moving at I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of kilometers or miles an hour. So, relative to the center of our own galaxy, you're booking it. Like, you're moving really damn fast. But from your own perspective, you're not moving at all, because you're going exactly the same speed as the Earth. There's no energy being imparted there other than, the gravitational pull keeping you kind of stuck to the ground. And that's kind of where I come to the end of that bit and find myself scratching my head, not exactly knowing what else to say about that. I guess I was just sort of setting up a point. But Even our own bodies, when we're completely still, aren't completely still. There's a billion things going on inside of us. There's cells exchanging, proteins and creating stuff. And, all kinds of chemistry and molecular stuff going on there, which when you boil it down to its fundamentals is just energy exchanging information. Atoms and molecules forming and, joining and becoming different compounds and splitting up into compounds. Taking the energy from the food that we've consumed, or if you're a plant, the sunlight that you've, interacted with its energy, and it's caused all kinds of chemical, energetic interactions inside of it. We get our energy from the world around us, and it's constantly replacing what makes us us with new things as we wear out. The body you have now is a completely different physical body from the one you had 10 years ago. Every single cell, every single atom and molecule that makes you up is new compared to the ones you had 10 years ago. Like, they're all new. Your stomach alone regenerates a new stomach lining every something like 1.8 days. And yet, you remain. You are still you. You might feel different. You might be in better shape or worse shape, or obviously you're older because you've moved, quote unquote, through time. You've aged. You've gotten older. For some reason, your body's not so great at recovering what it's lost. And maybe you're starting to show some wear and tear. But that's kind of irrelevant. I'm just kind of going on with the everything is moving sort of thing. And everything we see around us and all the world we perceive and exist in, and sense, and create in, and exist in, and be in, is all this exchange of energy. And in a way, nothing actually moves. It's just exchange of information. I don't know, I guess one location to the next. I got lost in my own sort of thought there. It's just, yeah, okay, there's a big squirrel. And we'll call that a cosmic squirrel. Just fly around a bit, maybe enjoy the view. It's nice in here. Pretty futuristic cockpit. But yeah, so we're all moving somewhere. An unknown destination. We don't know where it is, what it is, and when it'll happen. But then again, what is it? Some might think I'm talking about death. The final destination. Well, I don't think it's final. When you think about it, you've been inhabiting a body that is a completely different body every 10 years. You continue to exist. Perhaps some of you have had out-of-body experiences or lucid dreams or whatever. Perhaps some of you have had those moments where you get close to reaching whatever it is we all seem to be trying to reach. It's that thing that makes us want to go faster, faster, faster. And break land speed records and sound barriers. It's that thing that makes us put on wingsuits that go swooping down mountainsides. It's that thing within us that feeds on the adrenaline rush of life and death moments. It's that thing within us that feeds on carnage, and chaos, and destruction because why? Maybe there's a different answer for everyone. Maybe fundamentally somewhere deep down inside it's the same answer. Maybe we're all desperately trying to reach that thing that makes us feel really alive. That makes us feel connected, part of everything. That makes us forget all things sad. and just makes us feel pure exhilaration. Our body fades from perception. We feel weightless, like we're flying. Maybe that's the feeling of us remembering what it's like to exist without the shackles of a body. The constant perspective, perhaps, of existing within a body is helpful for honing, for completing, for adding complexity and detail to that string of memories that continually adds to the growing of us, of I, of you, of we. Somewhere out there in that universe, there's got to be life. And it's got to be striving towards that same nameless destination that in a way none of us perhaps ever really want to reach. Because then it means that this amazing journey might be over. So you don't need to worry, I don't think. I don't think any of us need to worry. Because energy, and we are energy, our own specific wonderful vibration, a song that is made up of all the notes left over from the memories of our existence. It's a song we sing to ourselves when there's no one else around. It is the picture we draw when we draw ourselves in worlds where we can look however we want. It is the self we portray, and the self we feel shame and guilt for when we do things that are out of character. I think I'll just call that one a deep squirrel. Again, I'm left wondering, am I running out of thoughts? No, not today. I'm going to babble on a little bit more. See if I can at least make it to the 15-minute mark. I've been making kind of short random squirrels lately. Kind of had enough crap going on in my life that I was trying not to think too much. Distract myself doing fun things like smashing monsters over the head in Dark Souls. Quite therapeutic, really. Doing a lot of racing, that kind of stuff, you know. But again, if you wonder, can energy create a world? Can energy be all there really is to our experience? As an example, look at where I am now. I mean, virtual me here in my little airplane trying to land clumsily and going off-roading, apparently. In this virtual world. Well, the only thing going on in here is electricity is coming in from a wall socket, and it's being moved around thousands of little passageways. Maybe slowed down in some places, given a certain energy vibration or a frequency in other places. On, off, on, off, on, off. Bunch of little switches being switched and toggled. Bunch of what-if questions being asked. And this person you're looking at now who's talking to you, in a way, is no more real or unreal than the mind who is using it to speak to you. Just energy moving around in specific patterns. The only difference being is this energy is self-aware and is asking questions of the world around it and is trying to see the world around it in new ways. Okay, so that was the 15-minute mark, apparently. And it sort of derailed me. That's okay, because I was kind of tumbling downhill and some just random blah, blah, blah. Maybe it's a sign I should settle down, call it a day. Tell you what, we'll take a little fly to the airport, out in the countryside. And we'll see how it goes. I know what, I'll use this opportunity to tell anybody who might be watching these crazy random squirrel videos. And some of my online friends already know. But I'd like to bring other people in from time to time. And part of the reason is I'd like the other people to come in with their own whatever it is they'd like to talk about. Because I'd like to hear thoughts from outside my own head sometimes. It doesn't have to be anything complicated. It doesn't have to be anything deep or smarmy or highfalutin or nothing. Just shoot the shit about whatever. You might think maybe your opinion is simple or stupid or weird. Maybe you see dead people. Hey, you know what? Maybe I see dead people. So don't be afraid of anyone thinking you're weird. Doesn't matter. It's not what these things are about. It's about seeing the world through other people's eyes. And the only eyes I got to see through are mine. So it's nice to hear about different views from time to time. It's nice to be invited into another person's mind, being allowed to have a look around from time to time. Almost always learn something new. And it's always interesting to think that whoever I'm interacting with, whether I'm sitting across from them virtually or physically, it's simply energy changing places. Information going from one mind to another. And that's all everything in the universe is. You can even apply analogies to something simple like driving an 18-wheeler, which I did for a while. For instance, a long time ago there was some organisms, mostly plankton, single-celled sea life. And all that crap died, kind of fossilized, turned into oil. That oil was extracted by human beings who came from the same earth, where once this stuff that made up the oil existed. And they pulled that oil from the ground and they did stuff to it, exchanged energy and information with it, to turn it into something slightly different, more readily usable than their machines that they'd made by pulling rocks out of the ground and exchanging energy with them to turn them into something pure or different or mixed. They put all these pieces, put them together, made engines. They burn that fuel, makes the engine spin around, makes the wheels in the truck go faster, makes the load go faster, gives it more and more kinetic potential energy, and kinetic motive energy? No, maybe I should leave the big words behind for now. Anyway, gets the thing going. It also runs a little compressor that builds up pressurized air in tanks. And when you go to stop, all that saved up energy moves the brakes against the brake pads. And friction, which is just on an atomic level, stuff interacting energetically and passing along information. The information becomes heat, heats up the brake rotors. That heat is passed on to the atmosphere and it dissipates. It dissipates to the point where it's no longer detectable. It's not gone. It's simply so thin it can no longer be perceived. And that same energy that was used to speed up the vehicle could slow it down. And all the things on that vehicle were made by the expenditure of energy. The interaction of energy and chemical, atomic, molecular level making things. And maybe it'll exist for as long as it takes for that energy to be communicated to the existence around it, until it rots or desiccates or rusts back into dust, back into the base atoms and molecules that made it up. It's not gone, simply dissipated. But the ripples it created in its existence, their information is always there, somewhere in the background noise. And the difference between us and physical things, when our shells go back to dust, go back to nothing in the universe, and have dissipated, is that our memory of us is self-contained and doesn't require a vessel. So unlike a rusted old truck or a dead body, we continue instead of fading out. And I think that'll be my cue to fade out. So have a good one. To quote Bill and Ted, be excellent to one another.